All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema Wan from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And today I want to go into a lesson just touching on how close we are to, Yahweh Shai making his return, man. The war and rumors of wars is happening. It's no longer rumors. We're no longer talking about these things taking off. And, the latest update, look at what happened with U.S. and Iran. For instance, let me read this real quick. Just touching on some of the latest news about the U.S. and Iran. It says U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. It says on June 22nd, 2025, President Trump announced U.S. airstrikes targeting 3 of Iran's key nuclear enrichment sites. Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. It says using B-2 bombers, bunker buster bombs, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and it says and submarine launched munitions, and it has its resources at the bottom. It says from Reuters.com. I'm gonna just read the headlinings from where it gets its resources from. So on Reuters, it says June 21st. It says a U.S. attack on Iranian nuclear sites could push oil prices even higher and trigger come on, man, bear with me. It says and trigger a knee-jerk rush to safety, investors said as they assessed how the latest escalation of tensions would ripple through the global economy. Let me touch on the next one. And all of these sites I'm going to attach in the comments, Lord will. Let's get another one. This is on NewYorkPost.com. The heading, it says, Trump threatens to unload more far greater strikes on bully Iran if peace isn't immediately accepted. Hold on. It says, let's see. Yeah, it says if peace isn't immediately accepted after U.S. obliterates Fordow nuclear site. Let's go to the next. This is the Scottish Sun. It says huge risk of escalation to West. It says warns Keir, K-E-I-R, as he backs U.S. allies and says Iran must not be allowed nuclear weapons. The next one, CBSNews.com. U.S. launches strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, Trump says. Yeah. But, with that happening, this is according to biblical prophecy. And we're in the stages of war actually taking place. It's no longer a rumor of, who's going to get involved and who's going to do what. We're seeing it take place. All right. And this, according to the times we're in, this is pretty much the scale or the clock we look at, concerning the time we have before Yahweh Shai's return. Like it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, we look at things that take place on the earth and filter them with the scriptures to let us know how close we are to the end. And we're in exciting times. Matter of fact, let's start. with what Yahushua said. Give me 1 second. This is Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 13 and verse 16. This is what Yahushua says. It says, "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear of those things which ye hear, and have not heard them." And relating that to the days that we're in, you know, we're finally seeing some of these major events that were prophesied to happen in the last days take full effect, man. You know, how does it say, for our salvation is nearer than we believe? You know, looking at things escalate and increase, you know, the tension going on between these, you know, the war talk. It's evidence. You know, this is evidence, not unseen. We're seeing it take place. This is evidence on absolutely how close we are to the end. But understand, prophecy still has to continue in its correct order. Like the Lord says in 2nd Esdras. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Everything has to play its course according to prophecy, and understanding World War III, you know, where the nuclear missiles are going to be launched off, is not going to take place until the mark of the beast comes first, which is the hour of temptation to try everybody upon the face of the earth. And you absolutely should be interested and attached to understanding accurately what is the mark of the beast. It will be very important to know and beneficial to know. That way you can prepare your mind, you know, for the days coming. But let me see, what am I looking for? Okay, right here. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 4 and verse 37. It says, "By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled." So something can't happen until, you know, the thing beforehand takes place. Just going into, like I mentioned, the destruction, you know, that's going to come from these nuclear missiles whenever they're fired off, that can't take place until the mark of the beast comes into effect. You know, so just like the scriptures say, one prophecy isn't gonna, you know, triumph another until it's ultimately been fulfilled. So just like the times we're in, these things have to take place because this is their order. You know, it says, let's see, that's it right there. Now let me get this 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, 2nd Esdras chapter 9. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 2nd Esdras chapter 8. 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 61. Hold on. Because, you know, this is a continual conversation between Ezra and Uriel, the archangel. You know what? Let's start at verse 61. It's cool. 2nd Esdras chapter 8 and 61. It says, "And therefore is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee, and a few like thee. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times. But at what time thou hast not showed me." So concerning key events and things that will be taking place in the last time, according to what? Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, in the 9th verse, it says, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, according to that time. Matthew, the 24th chapter, the disciples asked Yahushua in Matthew 24:3. I'll read it real quick. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, what shall be these things? When shall these things be? Okay, it says, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So that's always been the concern. Okay, the end of the end of the world, or the end of the age, or the end of the time. Concerning, let's get another one real quick. Concerning this overall. This is Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time, restore again the kingdom to Israel? That's what, that's what it's centered around. The kingdom being restored unto the nation of Israel. So the end of the age, the end of the time, it's all pointing to the direction of the nation of Israel, being established in the earth again upon our Lord's return. Like he was asked by the disciples, won't be the sign of thy coming? Yahushua returning to the earth. Like, what time is that going to take place? So going back to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, in verse 1. No, let's read chapter 8 and verse 63 again. It says, Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times, but at what time thou hast not showed me. Okay, now going into chapter 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as now, or it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. In the things taking place, these are the signs we ought to be paying attention to. If I would have kept reading in Matthew, the 24th chapter, Yahushua himself mentioned wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, uprisings of the people, the same things. And now, people who think nothing is gonna, come on that grand scale where like prophecy is gonna stir up the world, no matter how ignorant they try to be to it. Now it's undeniable. It is undeniable. America doing what they did to Iran, that's gonna stir a lot of shit up, and a lot of Americans are gonna feel the effect. There ain't no more pushing things off. The Lord is bringing this shit. How it says in the book of Proverbs, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. All right, and the Lord is the Lord is pleased with these things taking place before he sends his son. All right, the end of this age, or the end of this time, is going to end in a great war, and you're seeing it at the door, man. But Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Lord has total control over what takes place. The Lord put it in these niggas' minds to make that move. And these other nations aren't moved with fear. they're ready. The Lord got their spirit stirred up too. It's something I want to play real quick. Hopefully it can pick it up real quick. Hold on, let me see. All right. Oh man, come on. Hold on. All right, this is a little 4-minute and 56-second clip. The title is and this is on the Times of India. The title is, it says, U.S. will suffer irreparable damage. It says, I can't pronounce his name. Khamenei. I can't pronounce this. Let me see. Khamenei. I can't pronounce that shit. This is a lucky I'm trying to. But it's a message from, let me see. Basically, it's a message from Iran telling America that, you know, Trump started something serious at that. But listen real quick.
A great mistake. They have committed a major crime and must be punished, and they are being punished.
And this is
right now,
too.
They are being punished. The punishment that the Iranian people and our armed forces have inflicted and are inflicting on this wicked enemy, and will continue to do so in the future, is severe. It is a harsh punishment and is weakened, and even the fact that their American friends are stepping in and making statements is a sign of their weakness and incapacity. Recently, the President of the United States has started making threats. He was threatening us. He continues to threaten us. And with crude and unacceptable language, he is quickly demanding that the Iranian people come and surrender to him. When one sees these things, it is truly astonishing. First of all, threats should be made to those who are actually afraid of them. The Iranian nation has shown that it does not become fearful in the face of threats from those who threaten. Telling the Iranian people to come and surrender is not a reasonable statement. People of wisdom, those who know Iran, understand this. They know the Iranian nation. Anyone who knows the history of Iran would never utter such words. Surrender to what? The Iranian nation is not one to surrender. We do not attack anyone, and under no circumstances do we accept aggression from anyone, nor will we ever surrender to anyone's aggression. This is the logic of the Iranian nation. This is the spirit of the Iranian people. The Americans, those who are familiar with the politics of this region, know that America's involvement in this matter is absolutely to its own detriment. The damage it will suffer in this regard will be far greater than any harm that might come to Iran. If America enters this arena, if it takes military action here, the damage it will suffer will be irreparable. Without a doubt, the foolish and malicious attack by the Zionist regime on our country occurred while government officials were indirectly negotiating with the American side through intermediaries and individuals. At that particular moment in time, there was absolutely nothing whatsoever on Iran's part, from their perspective or actions taking place or was even being contemplated by them. From the beginning, it was suspected that the United States was also involved in this malicious act by the Zionist regime.
I'm gonna put this in the comment section too, but I just wanted to play a little bit of that. You know, just shows you, according to prophecy, these things are taking place. As it says, the least of the flock shall draw them. You know, how he made mention America helping the Zionists and, you know, Israel. Now look at what they're involved in. You know, they wanted that smoke, so to speak. Now they found it. And it's just, you know, just exciting to see these things take place that we've been hearing, you know, being taught for years. Now seeing these things actually jump off the page. All right, but I just wanted to just expound on it. You know, exciting times that we're in. So Lord willing, until the next time I say shalom.